All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and I've been going through this series where I'm creating a body mass index or BMI calculator in all of the different programming languages that are taught here at Rankin. So I've done one in Java, one in JavaScript, a C# console, a C# GUI, an ASP.NET, a Java, an App Inventor, and now I'm in the middle of an Android. I've done my first Android and I copied it, but now I want to come in and I want to play with some of the code that's in here. Blow that up a bit. All right, so the only thing that really needs some constants are in here. So I could just declare them in there, but maybe I'm going to use them someplace else. So I'm going to actually declare them up on top. So I'm going to declare global constants. All right. And I'm actually going to declare 6 of them. So I'm going to have here final int min height, and I'm going to set that to 12. Kind of what I've been doing. So let me just grab all and make 6 of these. I'm going to have to make some changes in here now, but you know that. So I've got the min height. I want to put in a max height, and that will be 96. I want to put in here a min weight, which will be 1. I want to put in here a max weight, and that will be 777. I think I've mentioned this previously. These are all just arbitrary values that I created. Also, come in here and I'm going to create what's called a def height. This will be a default height, so if the person puts nothing in there, we'll just set it to a default value, and we'll make that 72. And we'll also make def weight, our default weight, and we'll set that to, I don't know, 200 pounds. I don't know. All right, so we're going to call this put some comments here. These over too. And I'm going to say minimum allowed height. Maximum allowed height, minimum allowed weight, maximum allowed weight, default height, and default weight. Again, I've said this to you countless times before. The time to go and put in comments, if you are going to do so, is when you're putting the code in. Don't think I'm going to go back and do it later. It probably isn't going to happen. All right, so first thing I want to do before I do any of this stuff, again, what if that's blank? So I want to put in a check, validation check for blank height. So if the height is equal to, how am I going to do this? Well, we'll use this. I don't like this, but that's fine. We'll do it this way. It'll be fine. Probably is a cleaner way to do it than what I'm showing you, but it'll be still fine. Dot equals. This is basically saying a non-existing height. So if that's the case, I want to set height equal to def height. So if you put nothing in there, all right, if you put nothing in there, I'm gonna do that. And then I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna do the same thing with the weight. Now the problem is The problem is I've already figured out my BMI. So I'm going to grab this right here, and I'm going to set the BMI at the beginning to 0.0, the BMI value. Now that I'm sure if I didn't put in a height and or I didn't put in a weight, now I've got a value in there. Now I can say BMI value equal. Now I can put in my equation. All right? And now I can calculate my status, and it should all be okay. So that's first time. So again, we're just putting that in here. Next, oh, I don't remember how to do this, so let's see. I don't want that. I want this. Yeah, I looked at that before. Yeah, we'll come back. We'll leave that up in case we need it. Yeah, it was something else I was reading. And let's see. We want Java, or let's put it Android, which is Java anyway. Android rounding a number to 2. I guess I was looking for it before. All right, so rounding a number to 2 decimal places. Let's look at this one. Okay, I'm just going to grab all that. Well, we can say string.format. That looks kind of nice. Ooh, I like that. All right, so let's do that. So when we're printing this out, don't know if this is going to work or what it's going to look like. I'm going to take this line and just comment it out. All right. And say result plus equals BMI plus string.format BMI value. And I'm hoping that's going to put it to 2 decimal places. All right, so you can see the changes that I've made thus far. These have been all, I think these are all the code changes that I have to make. It says I got a typo. Def height, def weight, def weight. I don't think so. Oh, the spell check doesn't know what that means. Okay, that's fine. So let's do a file, save all. Let's run the program again. Let's again use our Nexus 1. I like the way that that comes out and resonates on screen here better. So now what should happen, and I can already think of a mistake I made, but it's fine. Not a mistake, but it's something I might want to put in. I'm going to run this again and put nothing in the height, nothing in the weight, and I'm going to click the calculate button right away. Installation failed. That's not good. No, I don't want to do that. Still wonder if the problem with that is, let me do this. I'm going to do a file, and I'm going to close the project. All right. And I'm not going to bring it up like that, so I'm going to close that too. I think, at least, I should never have gone in there and changed that name as I did. There's all sorts of things, bad things that can potentially happen when you do that. So I'm going to come back and make that BMI V1 again. I don't know if that'll fix the problem or not. Hopefully I didn't hurt it too badly, so to speak. And I'm not going to worry about it because even if there's a major problem, we'll get it fixed. And I'm only at 10 minutes right now, so I'm doing just fine. So I'm going to start this up again. And I'm just going to say open an existing Android project, again from my desktop. And under the desktop, it was under BMI, and under BMI, it was under 8, and then version 2. That's that. Hopefully, that'll be okay now. We'll see. If this doesn't work, I'm going to also try just rebooting the machine because I may have just screwed it up. And if worst case, if it still says it doesn't work, I can take all the code that I have just changed and just copy all my code and then recopy the project over again and just put in the new, put in the code that I added. So I'm not worried about it. Hopefully this is going to work. Okay. And I think I'm going to, if this works, I'm going to change a couple things around. I'm going to do the modularization now, and then we'll go back and in the last lecture that I'll do in this series, we'll go in and we'll try to do some aesthetic things. I think that's a little cleaner way to do it. So there was our code. I'll just blow it out and put it in, brother. All right, so let's come in. Hopefully that fixed it and it didn't make it worse, but if it did, we're going to know real quick. Okay, there's our Nexus 1. Again, the idea is when we run this, if we put nothing in either of the edit text boxes and we click the calculate button, it should put our default values in there for us. That's what I'm looking for here. What I should have done, darn it. Install that. So, brother. Well, let me just mention, not only should I have done this, all right, which is correct, okay, but I also should have done I also should have come back in and reset this. So I'll do that next. All right, well that didn't take. So what I'm going to do is just I've recopied the project over. I'm going to have to put the code back in again. That's not a big thing. It really and truly is not. So, strings, there's our activity main. Oh, somewhere in here we need to find our source code. That's what I want. Okay. So I've got to go back and re-add in the code that I put in before. Okay, that's not a big thing. So the first thing I was doing in here is handle the case, handle the case where height and or weight left blank. So if we got to do a get text, so this whole mess here, if that, remember when we're doing an equality check in Java, it's dot equals. So if that's equal to the empty string, then all I want to do is I want to say height equals the default height. Now that's going to give me an error because I had it up here before, but remember it didn't work. And let's also do a set text of our default height, but that'll have to be converted to a string. And why don't we just say here where height was left blank, and then this can say where weight was left blank. W, 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 W. Hopefully I didn't miss any. All right, so let's put back in, let's declare the global constants. Since I would prefer them global. That's actually considered an okay policy. So there were our global variables. I always do my constants before my variables. Not everybody does that, but I believe most do. So final int min height equals, and that's going to be 12, and that's the minimum allowed height. I'm going to copy this 6 times. We're going to have max height. That's 96. That's the maximum allowed height. Then we'll have def height, which is our default height, which we're going to set equal to, I'm just randomly again picking 72. Then our minimum weight, our maximum weight, and our default weight. Okay. Our minimum weight will be 1 pound. Our maximum weight will be 777 pounds. Again, arbitrary values that I selected. And our default weight will be 200 pounds. So that's minimum allowed weight, maximum allowed weight, and default weight. All right, so hopefully I put in everything that I need. I'm getting warnings here, and it's telling me I should put those in the strings file. I'm not doing that because they're not string variables. All right, they're actually, as you saw at the top, they're integer variables, and I think the way I'm doing it is the right way. So I'm going to do a save all, and I'm going to try to run it and see what happens when I do run it. Hopefully I'm not going to get that same error that I got before. I don't want to have to retype this in again. That's ridiculous. But I'm looking, I got stuff here that's red. Doesn't appear that it's going to like this, so we'll see. It may break now because it doesn't like those 2 things that I put in there, so. My time is getting up there. It's almost 20 minutes, but I do want this to be the end, if possible, of this lecture. So let me just close that. Cannot resolve to string. I'm going to try something here, and I don't know if this will work or not. I'm going to say string temp equals, again, the empty string, And then I'm going to say here temp equals still doesn't like that though. Can we do this? Can we say string like that? Will it take that? Method call expected. Well, this is an int, so what if we tried an int.toString on that? Does it take that? Now I think I can get rid of this. Hopefully put in this. Well, I'll tell you what, let's leave it off, and I will comment it out, try to put it back in. Oops. Try to put it back in just a bit. See if I can figure out why that's not working. So again, we're going to have the same problem here. So again, I'll have to do the same thing there. So let's run it and see if indeed now it works with putting in those changes. So I want to be able to check it now for having no value in the weight and or no value in the height. Edit text. Oh my goodness. You know what? Yeah. I don't even know what that does. So let's go in and do a file. Save all, I don't know. File, close project. I'm going to try to reboot the system and see if somehow that fixes things. So I'm done with this particular lecture, and I'll be back to try to fix that up in just a couple minutes.